Once upon a time, there was a child who was sound asleep in her cozy bed. The room was silent except for the faint sound of her breathing. She looked peaceful, and her curly brown hair was spread all over her pillow. Suddenly, a shadow grew larger and larger in the corner of the room. It was so dark that it made the whole room look dim. But then a shadow slowly turned into a beautiful shape. The shape turned out to be an exotic bird, with feathers that seemed to be made of every color in the world. It perched on the child's windowsill and looked in with curious eyes. Without hesitation, the bird flew off the windowsill and beckoned for the child to follow. She got out of bed and followed the bird all the way to a giant tree with an ornate door in the trunk. The bird chirped happily and transformed into a fairy, escorting the child through the door and into a beautiful enchanted forest. The trees were huge and the leaves had a glistening quality to them. In the middle there was a wide river. They followed the river to a majestic waterfall that shone like a rainbow. The fairy cast a spell, and they both could breathe underwater. They dove in, swimming and giggling through tunnels of shimmering light. Emerging on the other side of the river, the two of them found themselves gazing up at a floating palace in the clouds. Towering high, it was the most exciting thing the child had ever seen. They went towards it and crossed the drawbridge. Once she walked in, she saw a ballroom in which many people were dancing elegantly. There were hundreds of glowing lights, and the whole room was so decorated that she couldn't decide which part of the room to look at first. She danced happily with the fairy until she fell asleep. The child woke up in her bed, realizing that it was all just a dream. For a brief moment, she felt confused and disappointed. But the memory of her adventures lingered in her mind, bringing a smile to her sleepy face.